Hey everyone, it's Mr. Wobbly94. I hope you're doing well today. I have a book review for you for my first ever Fear Street book. I have read some of the Ghosts of Fear Street book, which are more of kind of like a Goosebumps middle grade type of audience from back in the day. I think they were ghost written too. I don't think Stein wrote those at all. Anyway, I've read my first actual Fear Street books. Or first book from that series. Anyway, I have read some of his Point Horror books, which were another series around the time that Fear Street was out. And Point Horror's been hit and miss for me. There's been a couple of books, the Halloween Night and Halloween Night 2 books, that I mostly enjoyed quite a bit. I read The Snowman recently, and that was a mess. I reviewed that here on the channel as well. I still can't get over some of the things in that book, but I did finally read my first Fear Street book. I'm not sure if there's different Fear Street series within the franchise, kind of like how Goosebumps has Most Wanted and Horrorland and the classics and Give Yourself Goosebumps and different series like that. This is one called a Super Chiller. I'm assuming there's Fear Street, Super Chiller, Ghosts of Fear Street, something else. I don't know. But anyway, this is Super Chiller, Silent Night. Now there are 3 of these, and I have not read the other 2 yet. This is the first time I've ever read this one, and it will be the first time I've ever read the other 2. I have those other ones right here, as a matter of fact. And they have cool covers, I'll give them that. Fear Street always has some solid covers, just like how Goosebumps does. These books are about 200 pages apiece. This one I read was about 215. And Silent Night was very underwhelming in my opinion. I just made a review also for my main channel called Michael Goosebumps Fan, where I talk about Goosebumps books and whatnot. Other R.L. Stein things, and just other books out there that are like Goosebumps, you know? And I made a review for this book just a moment ago, so I might leave some information out. If you've read the book, you might think I've skipped over some details or something. Of course, this is a spoiler-free review, so if you think I missed on something, it's probably because I just covered it, and I'm not sure if I covered it here in this video or in the other video. Anyway, getting to the actual book. This is a pain to read in some respects, and I'm hoping a lot of these characters, if not all of these characters, do not come back for books 2 and 3. I think they will. I hope not, though. I hope and pray hard that they don't. The characters seem to ruin this book for the most part, mainly the main character named Reeva. The book starts off taking place about 2 weeks into our actual story in a prologue, and then it jumps back to 2 weeks beforehand. In the prologue, we have a girl named Reeva who's a snarky, awful chick. I mean, I hate this chick. She is one of the worst characters I've ever read in my life, in the sense of you're supposed to hate her. So with content and context, you're supposed to hate her. Stein did a great job writing her, and that's good. That's fine and good. But she's not enjoyably bad to read about. She's just a terrible, horrible chick that I can't stand. She should have been like the side character, and we should have had a better, more bland main character like the other character we kind of follow her perspective, named Pam, who is the cousin of Reeva. Anyway, in the prologue, Reeva is working at her dad's store. It's closer to Christmas time, and she is putting her lipstick on and gets stabbed in the lip by a needle that somebody put inside of her lipstick stick. And she's just kind of like, oh, what the hell? So she goes into panic mode, and we go back to 2 weeks before that incident takes place, and we find out that Reeva's dad needs her to find some friends from school and whatever to come and work at his store during Christmas time. He'll pay them well, so on and so on. And all that stuff I liked. I liked the Christmas setting. You don't have many Goosebumps books, or many, in this case from what my small amount of experience is, from Fear Street books, where you really focus on someone actually getting to see decorations or talk about Christmas or Santa Claus or anything like that. I think Stein is Jewish, I believe. I could be wrong. I believe he's Jewish, and I believe I heard that's why he doesn't do many Christmas books. He does a lot of Halloween books, but not many Christmas books at all. That's understandable. It is what it is. But that was a neat twist on here, and I liked those settings, especially the store that Reeva's dad owns and all the decorations and the different things that sets up. But Reeva's awful. She's just a mean-spirited chick. As you read more about this girl, most of this book is in her perspective. A lot of it is her breaking up relationships with people. She breaks up with her boyfriend, like first scene of the book after the prologue, just to do it. Not because there was anybody else she was interested in, not because she wanted to date someone else or wanted to see some other options. She's just a mean-spirited, popular chick, but also not popular in the sense of people wanting to be friends with her. Everybody hates her, including me. Including me, the reader. I hate her too, but everybody hates her. Again, you're supposed to, and it's part of the, I don't want to say theme, and I don't want to say message, but it's kind of just part of the ending of this book. Reeva's horrible. I can't stand reading about her. She's just the most self-focused, conceited, scummy chick I've ever seen in my life. Think of the worst chick you ever went to high school with that was just mean to everyone. That's what Reeva is, and you're reading that perspective for 200 pages, man. And if she's in the second and third books and has not changed the way I would hope she has by the end of this book, then you're going to have to deal with that for about 400 more pages, which will make you want to shoot yourself. Anyway, we follow a lot of her perspective as she works at the store, and as she got people to come and work at the store, she's pulling some mean pranks here and there. She's flirting around with different guys that she invited to come work at the store, breaking up their relationships and stuff. She's just awful. Anyway, we also follow the perspective of her cousin named Pam. Now, Reeva's mom had passed away. Pam's is still alive, and there's a little bit of a falling out that Reeva and Pam had years before when Reeva's mom had passed away. And Pam thinks a lot of that irksomeness that has come from Reeva towards herself seems to be from that. Maybe a jealousy that Pam still has her mom alive and safe and well. And it's kind of sad in that regard. You know, I've had fallings out with people before. I don't think there were ever jealousy things like that or anything, but I've had that before, so I can relate to that to an extent. Not so much from Reeva's perspective. Reeva's just a scummy person, but from Pam's perspective, I kind of get that. Missing someone, especially a cousin that you were so close with and you wanted to spend more time with. I've had that before too. And it's touching in that way, I will say that. But Pam overall as a person is really dull. She's just a dull, boring person. Now she's involved with some other weird, sketchy people. One in particular named Mickey, who proposes that since his dad was recently fired by Reeva's dad, who owns that particular store that they're all working at, Mickey proposes that he, another guy that hangs out with them, and Pam decide to possibly go and rob the store. That he has kind of a friendship with one of the security guards named Maywood. And then Maywood had told him all these different things about the security cameras and this and that about the store, what he would leave open for them to get inside and rob the place. They were to go in with no guns or whatever and just kind of steal some VCRs. Yes, this is a 1990s book, pre-Goosebumps. There are VCRs in here. I love VHS tapes. I have a lot of VHS tapes around my house because I watch a lot of old stuff that I've grown up on from a 90s childhood. And that was great. That made me smile seeing some of that 1990s technology. I didn't see anything about Walkmans, though, which was odd to me. But, you know, maybe another Fear Street book. Somewhere I'll have that. I guarantee there's got to be one out there that will have that. Anyway, when the kids get involved in that, the robbery does not go entirely smoothly the way they thought it would. And it kind of backfires on them, frankly. So they get stuck in a situation that's not very good. It's pretty rough. It's a pretty crazy situation. Pam is not as relatable as I think she should be. She kind of just goes along with that robbery heist situation almost immediately. Like, it was kind of stupid. I know she had her doubts, but she pretty much went right on into it. Any real, honest to God, not going to do that type of person would not have even considered this. As a matter of fact, I think most people would have tried to talk the other people out of it, and she did not do that. So, I'm not really a fan of Reeva or Pam, the main characters of this book. But there's some good twists here. Stein has a good writing style. I do like that. It's very simplistic, not very complicated. This is a YA book, not really a middle grade book at all. There is actual murder in here. People actually die from brutality. You don't really get to see any of it happen. It's off screen, but quite a bit of violence in here, which is cool. Sounds like a Beavis and Butthead thing. That's cool. I really dug it with... Well, I mean the violence. I really dug those parts of the book because they added some good twists in here. Stein can write and execute really good twists. He can execute tension really well. And again, he can write characters too. It's just, you have to really kind of understand if you're supposed to hate somebody or you're supposed to kind of be in a weird, like, I understand where this person's coming from, but I don't like them and I don't agree with them type of thing with Pam. You have that in here. Stein is a fantastically talented writer. I prefer Goosebumps over Fear Street. Now, of course, Fear Street always takes place in a place called Shadyside. I think there's one particular street somewhere in here called Fear Street. I don't really know. But that's not what I thought it was. And like I said in my Michael Goosebumps fan review for this book, I kind of expected it to be more prominent in the book. You know, when you watch Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, this is the example I used in my Michael Goosebumps fan video. When you watch Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies, New York City is not just a setting. It feels like a character for those movies. It feels important. When Spider-Man's swinging through, it feels way more important, right? Whereas when you jump over to Fear Street, it feels like Shady's side and all that, they're not really important. It's just kind of a setting commonality for every single book. And it is what it is. There's not really anything too important there with that. It's not a very prominent figure on the book. It's not like you're going to see these landmarks amongst every single book in the series. It's not like that. So that's all I've really got to say about that part. Overall, I don't hate Silent Night. I don't want to come across so negative with it. Some of the things in this book work so fantastically well. Like I said, Stein's writing style is good. There's some good twists in here I enjoyed. I will say the revelation of who was doing what, I don't really know how to put it. There's so many different little plot threads going here and there. When you get to the end of the book, I think a lot of the stuff, the revelations of who was doing what and who was involved with what, I think it's a little too clumsy for me. I think it's a little too messy, frankly, for me. A little bit too more complicated than it needs to be, even as a mystery book for teenagers. It's not what I think it should have been. I don't know. I'm not very impressed with my first venturing into a real Fear Street book. I've said that before and I'll say it now. I do think this is slightly better than The Snowman, the point horror book I recently reviewed from Stein, but not much better. You know, Heather, the main character in that book, was a complete idiot. In this book, Reeva's just an awful chick that I hate her guts and I want her to die. But anyway, it is what it is. I'm not very happy with this book. It's just alright. Have you read Silent Night? Have you read Silent Night 2 and 3? What did you think about those books too? I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on them. Spoiler free though. Please don't put any spoilers down below. With this one, I've seen some of my friends have enjoyed this book. Not so much me. I'm very surprised with some of the people I've seen talk about this book and say they liked it so much. It really missed the mark for me. Big time. Anyway, what did you think about it? Put your thoughts and comments down below, folks. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was okay? What did you think about Reeva? Is she as awful as I think she is? Because I think she's really awful. Anyway, if I had to rate this book on a 5-star basis, I would give it about a 3 out of 5 stars. I'm not extremely impressed with it. I just think it's fine. Again, I think the real highlight of Stein's career, from what I've read so far with the first Fear Street and a couple of Ghost of Fear Street books, which he didn't write, I think I really honestly prefer Goosebumps 1,000 times over. I think that he's done way better with those books than he has with anything from Fear Street, from what I can tell. And I think the fact that many Goosebumps books are still in reprint and Fear Street is not whatsoever speaks volumes about how much more of a timeless feel Goosebumps has compared to what Fear Street was at the time, just making money, almost like a pulpy type of thing. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Put them down below, guys. I would love to hear what you have to say about it. What are your thoughts? Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope to get a review out for 2 and 3 at some point. I'm not sure if I'll be able to read both of those this year. I may or may not continue reading them into January. We'll see. I'll find out at some point. But for now, thank you so much for watching. God bless you. 3 out of 5 stars from me. Merry Christmas and goodbye.